Okay, as always, I'm starting my video off with some sage, but this is the super big, like, smudge stick, so I feel like the entrance to the video was like me appearing out of smoke. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm super excited for this video. I am eventually gonna put the sage out in 1 second so I don't choke and die on the smoke. But I love to like clear the space. I would open my balcony door, but I don't want my neighbors to hear me and think I'm a weird alien freak. So this video is gonna be, okay, I'm gonna put this out now. I literally can't breathe. This video, let me just clear some more space. Here you go. Hope you guys feel that. And I know this is a little extra, but I am excited that my alien sports bra came in the mail, or yoga top or whatever. So yeah, like I said in my last video, sometimes I feel like getting ready for my videos and sometimes I don't. And if you guys watched my last video, I looked like I was dying, so all right, there you go. I will put this out. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but my self-doubt kept getting in the way and saying like, how could you make a video about, oh, let me just tell you what the video is about. It's about what is a starseed. So my self-doubt was saying, how could you make a video about what is a starseed when you don't even know like the complete definition, or like maybe you don't know enough as the people that do make videos about what a starseed is. But I think I know enough to make a video because I just have been feeling inspired to make this, and so definitely excited to make it. I'm a little distracted because I was trying to put out the sage and it will not go out, and I don't want to waste half the video trying to put out sage, so I'll just let it burn a little bit. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing what books I recommend for starseeds, what crystals I recommend for starseeds, and my story about how I found out that I was a starseed, and about what is a starseed. This is so exciting because like once I kind of like, I don't know the word. Once I like found out that I was a starseed, it took a little while for me to get like comfortable with feeling that, and now I'm just like fully embracing it. And I know it's very important to not get carried away with like that identity, because we all essentially are starseeds. Nobody is from Earth. We all come from source energy, whatever you want to call it, God. I don't really like using that term anymore because of how I grew up and how that term was super misconstrued in my opinion. And so I just like to use the word like source energy, the universe. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. So we all come from source 333, but like when I'm talking about starseed, I'm getting excited about it, but I just want to clarify that I do understand that we all come from source originally, and we are all equal, and there is no like soul that's more advanced or anything like that. But for the sake of this video, I do have to kind of dive into that term and what it means to me and everything. Not like there's like a set definition in the dictionary or whatever, because it's kind of like a new age term. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you guys my opinion about what a starseed is, because like I said, there's no set definition. There's just people that kind of agree on like what a starseed is. I don't know if that makes any sense. All right, so let's get into it now that I have kind of wasted 4 minutes. So the definition of a starseed, there is no set definition. I'm gonna just give you guys what I have been coming across and what I feel. So a starseed, there's a few different definitions and some are contradictory, but I'm gonna share with you which ones resonate with me. So starseed has many different names. According to Dolores Cannon, she calls them the 3 waves of volunteers. This is one of the first books I read about starseeds. And what she says in this book is there were 3 waves of souls that have incarnated on Earth. You can learn more in here because I'm not going to dive too much into it. But she says they're souls who have never lived on Earth before. And so one of the contradictory things about that is when I was first learning about this stuff, it really confused me because I'm like, I kind of identify with some past lives on Earth, but they weren't in like physical human form like we are now. Like maybe in Atlantis, they were in physical form, but it was kind of not exactly 555. It wasn't exactly like this. So this book a little bit confused me, saying that these souls, if you are a starseed or a volunteer, what she talks about in her book, then you haven't lived any past lives on Earth. But there's also other definitions that said you have lived a lot of past lives on Earth, but what makes a starseed is the fact that you are here for this shift, that your soul was one of these volunteers that volunteered to come assist Earth with this shift. Now, it's not like these souls are like all, I don't know the word, like they're not just doing it for the sake of only helping people. It also helps them with their soul evolution and their karma. So it's kind of like mutually beneficial. It's not like we're just like so giving and loving that we want to help Earth with nothing that we get out of it, if that makes sense. We did this for ourselves, for our souls, and for our evolution, and this is a very exciting time on Earth in history right now. So yeah, like we were excited to come, and then when we came here, we're like, what the fuck did we get ourselves into, right? But I'm sorry I'm rambling. I never had like a set thing I was gonna say for this video. I kind of just wanted to like speak from the heart, but I really hope no one's like getting bored of what I'm saying, and I hope I make sense to anyone. But anyways, basically, a starseed is a soul that has lived in multiple dimensions and on multiple like planets, and they're the souls who have specifically incarnated on Earth for a mission. That's how I would describe it, because like I said, there is no set definition. I'm going to give you guys my definition, and as always, take what resonates, leave the rest. If something I say doesn't sound right, I don't know everything, you know? So don't listen to everything. Only listen to what you feel in your soul, because this is stuff that I personally feel to be true in my heart and soul. So souls that have came here for a specific mission, and I call it Mission Earth. Mission Earth. So starseeds, I want to explain like what it's like to be a starseed. You may be watching this and wondering, like, am I a starseed? If you're wondering that, 100% yes you are. And then another thing is, if you're watching my video, you most likely are too, because you wouldn't be watching it if you weren't. You wouldn't be wondering if you were one if you weren't. So hi starseeds. So another name for starseed is, in this book, I'm sure you guys have all heard of this, the raw material. It's channeled information, and they call starseeds wanderers. There's so many different names for it. Wanderers, light workers, indigo child, rainbow, crystal children. They're all the souls who have come here to help assist Earth in this shift. So growing up, usually kind of the definition of a starseed is growing up you don't feel like normal. You don't feel like the rest of the people on Earth. You feel very, very different. There's a lot of videos saying like 10 signs that you are a starseed. I don't really identify with all those, and that confused me at first. So I would read it, right? And for the first like year, I doubted if I was a starseed. Like when I first heard of the term, instantly my soul was like, you are 100%. Like, but then I would read things like 10 signs you are a starseed, and I went on this whole like research frenzy to figure out if I was one, right? And then it says like a lot of good points. Like I do identify with most of them, but I'm only saying this because if you don't identify with every single thing and then you're like, oh, I'm not a starseed, like it doesn't matter if you identify with those. There are no set 10 rules that you are a starseed, you know? If you feel it in your heart, you most likely are, but you have to have like discernment, and you have to feel that. And if you do feel that, then you are. So for me, it was like you feel like an outcast growing up. You know, I didn't really feel like that. I always felt like normal as a kid, even in high school. Like, yeah, I was picked on a lot, but it wasn't like, I wasn't specifically one of the ones who was like a loner and like didn't feel like I related to anyone. I felt pretty normal until my awakening. Until like into adulthood is when I started to realize that I'm different. And so, yeah, one of the main things is you feel a little different. And so I don't think it has to be like only in childhood. You could kind of just like grow into it and start feeling like not like the rest of these humans on Earth, you know? There was some other things that, you know, growing up, maybe you had a hard life. See, for me, that is what I identify with. So starseeds, light workers, whatever you want to call it, I like using both terms. And I just want to also clarify, these are just human terms to kind of help us understand each other and what it is we are. Because when you're awakening and you hear of all these things, you feel different, you get depressed, you're in a really dark state, and it really helps to use these terms so you have other people to identify with. So this term is not something to make us feel any better than anyone else. I need to clarify that, because it's not like, you know, like I said, essentially we all are starseeds, just not everyone will awaken to that and awaken to their multidimensional identity in this reality. Some people will go their whole lives without ever believing or being consciously aware of living on other dimensions and planets. But like Dolores Cannon and many other people say, we have all lived on other planets and in other dimensions. Earth is just one of those places that we incarnate on for our soul evolution. So I need to clarify like that. Don't get too carried away with the term, but it is really fun to identify with. And I mean, I get carried away with it sometimes, but then I have to like ground myself and not get too carried away with like your starseed identity or whatever, because we're all one, we're all equal, and we have all lived on other planets and dimensions. But like I said, starseeds are just consciously aware of it in this lifetime, and we start being aware of our multi-dimensional selves and our multi-dimensional identities. So I just felt the need to say that. But back to starseeds growing up and having a hard life. So I'm trying to think if I want to tell my personal story of growing up and how I had a hard life. I don't know if that's too much information. I guess why not? Why not? Because a lot of people that are watching this are starseeds, and they might have had a hard childhood or something. I'm gonna kind of keep it brief. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I'm not ready to like cry in this video and like get all deep. I just kind of want to go over like the series of events that kind of led to my awakening. And yeah, the sage is still burning. So yeah, growing up, we don't have hard, I mean, we have hard lives growing up, and that's because we have to, you know, fully dive into this human experience while we're here, and we need triggers to wake us up eventually. We're all coded to wake up at a specific time. This book specifically, I wish I could find out where it says it, but it says we were all coded to wake up at a specific time, and we have triggers in our lives that kind of are markings for our awakening, whenever that may be. For me, I wasn't aware of like being a starseed until like 6 months after my awakening. After I awakened, like my first initial awakening, because like awakening's not one big event, it's like a series, like a progressive series of awakenings. Like it's an unfoldment. It's like layers of an onion, like that you're peeling back. There's no big like awakening and then you're all enlightened. It's like a journey. And I'm still on that journey, very much in the beginning of my journey. So I don't know everything I'm talking about. But like I said, I share what I know, and if it helps, great. And I just love this top so much. Anything to do with aliens and cosmic, I'm obsessed with. So let me tell my story. So growing up, I did not have an easy life. I mean, it wasn't horrible, and you know, I know everything happens for a reason, and before I incarnated, I specifically chose my parents and the experiences that I was gonna have growing up, because like I said, I needed those things to eventually wake up in my life whenever I had coded myself to wake up. And if you guys are more interested about that, Tom Kenyon, The Great Human Potential. It's Tom Kenyon and Wendy Kennedy. So it's channeled information from the Hathors and the Pleiadians, and I will get more back to this book. But growing up, for me, I feel like my awakening, like people say, like when and why and how did you awaken? My whole life was leading up to my awakening. So let me explain. I didn't have like too much of an easy childhood. Growing up, like in the beginning was good, but my dad, when I was younger, it's like not easy for me to say this. That's why I'm kind of hesitating, because like a lot of people don't know this and I don't really talk about it. I was gonna write about it in my book when I put that out, but I don't know when I'm gonna put it out, and maybe this will help some people who have been going through the same thing, you know? So, my dad was on drugs when I was little. He was addicted to meth, and he had horrible, horrible rage. And he verbally abused my mom. It was me, my sister, and my brother growing up. And when he did start doing drugs, he was also an alcoholic, and every time that he would come down from the drugs, he would go into a rage, and he'd verbally abuse my mom, sometimes physically, and we had to watch that growing up. So that's the kind of household that I grew up in. And every time he got mad, he kicked us out of our house, and we had to go stay with my grandparents. And this happened every week. Every week when he would come down, he'd just go into fits of rage. He'd punch holes in the walls. He would kick my mom out, verbally abuse her. And then if we tried to like stop him, he'd say, "You get the fuck out of here too." So yeah, it was kind of an unstable environment. Like every other week getting kicked out of your own home as a child, like, so that was I feel like a major part of my awakening, just having like a hard childhood. So then after that, eventually my mom divorced him, and we moved in with my grandparents. And then obviously I started having problems at school. I got into a lot of fights. Like a lot of people tried to fight me. and a lot of people didn't like me. I'll talk about that more in my book. But so, like any other kid, I got, as an escape, I got into like partying and drinking at a young age, like very young age. And things got so bad at school that I had to be homeschooled. And then I only had like one really close friend growing up, and her name was Cassie, and we still keep in touch, and I love her so much. She was my only real friend growing up. And so I went to go live with her after I went to a different high school every single year because I kept getting in fights with people. And so for my junior year, my mom allowed me to go live with my best friend Cassie because she ended up moving to a different city, and she was not there, and she was my only friend. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do without her, you know? And my mom saw the path I was going down, and she knew that it would be best for me. I had so many problems growing up. So I went to go live with her, and I got into a lot of drugs at a young age. Like, I hate to say this, and it's, you know, it's not something I like to say about myself, but I tried a lot of like ecstasy when I was younger. It was called fizz pills, like when I took them in the Bay Area. If you're from the Bay Area, I'm sure you know that term, but I did them at school. I did them on break. I did them at my friend's house when her parents weren't home. Like, I took at least 20 in 1 year, and I was just like 16, I think. I don't know how old you are in junior high, but I think, or not junior high, but junior year, I think. But I tried cocaine. I got really into drinking, and a lot of Starseeds do get into stuff like that because we have hard childhoods. So, like, you know, we get into bad things. And so that was my life, like, growing up. Like, dad did drugs, then I got into drugs, and it was bad. It was bad, bad, bad. But like I said, I chose those experiences to help awaken me. So that's all I have to say about my childhood and my teens. They were not easy, and yeah, then after that, I ended up moving back home when I was 17, and I went to go live with my sister because me and my mom didn't have a great relationship. And then some other stuff happened that I don't want to talk about right now, but then I had a few more years of hardships, and that will be talked about in my book because it's a little too personal for me to be talking about like while I'm on screen. It's easier to write about it. But yeah, that's my story of, like, not of awakening, because like the other things that happened the past few years were like another huge trigger for me to awaken. But after I hit rock bottom, basically, I'll just say that, like, after I hit rock bottom, it was like in 2016, not too long ago, and I wanted to die. I literally wanted to die, but I had a daughter and obviously couldn't give up. She was too important to me, and I would never, ever, ever leave her, no matter how badly I wanted to, and I really wanted to. And that's another thing about Starseeds. They don't like living on Earth, and they have hard lives on Earth, and a lot of us try to take our own lives or get to the point where we want to take our own life. So I need to plug my phone in. I have a feeling it's gonna die, so just hold on 1 second. Okay. Gonna have to bring this a little bit closer. Perfect. Oops. Okay. So yes, I'm sure if you're a Starseed and you're watching this, like, you too have been in that dark, dark place. And so, you know, it's not about me and my story. You're watching this to like figure out maybe if you're a starseed or like, I don't know. But it's important to share because I know maybe not the exact experience, but I know many of you guys have had similar experiences. So it helps to feel like we're not alone, right? Like that's the whole point of using this word or these words to so we could identify with each other and find other souls who are like ourselves. Because wow, like growing up, you are the only one most likely in your life who feels that way. And how lonely is that? Like you must feel so isolated, right? It's important to find a community once you do awaken to this like identity of yourself, that you're a little bit different and your soul is here for a specific reason and mission, and it really, really, really helps to find others like you. So that's why I'm making this video, and I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so on your journey of awakening, starseeds, once they kind of come into alignment, we all find each other. We find our soul family, and if we're on the same frequency, we eventually vibrate towards each other and find each other. So yeah, you're lonely. Like, to be honest, I never had any friends. So that is one thing that's hard. You grow up, you feel a little bit different. You've been through some things that maybe people haven't been through, and you feel different and isolated. Your family doesn't get you. Nobody gets you. So when you awaken, eventually you do find your soul tribe. And I have been finding them, and it means so much to me because, like I said, I never had any friends growing up. And that's really hard. Like I said, my friend from high school was my only friend, but we kind of we stopped being close, and then I was all alone. I had my sister and my boyfriend, which was great, but it's hard, like, not having any friends. And then on top of that, I had horrible social anxiety the last 3 years, and yeah, it makes it hard for me to like be around other people. Therefore, I was like a loner, and I was fine with that. I actually love being alone, but like when you find your soul tribe, it just fills you up. It fills your whole heart up, and you don't feel alone anymore, and you talk to people who have also been going through this stuff, who understand you, who get you. You finally find people who get you and are just like you. It's the most beautiful thing. So if you haven't found that yet, it's coming, and when it does, you are just gonna be so full. So I want to read you guys some quotes. They're from my book. Sorry, I am not going to read some quotes. They don't have anything to do with Starseeds, just our connection to the cosmos, which could be another video. But okay, I'm going to go over kind of my notes. So Starseeds come from a higher dimension and a higher vibration. When we incarnate on Earth, we forget everything, and we're kind of like unaware of this like identity, and unaware, and we grow up like normal humans, just spiritual amnesia is what I like to call it, and we're coded. And so there will be some things you have to go through, some darkness like I just said, and then you get triggers and triggers till you hit rock bottom, and you are in such a dark place, like I said, that you may not want to live anymore. Maybe it's not that dark. I hope not, because it's not fun feeling like that. And then you get to a point where you're in such a dark place that you find light within, and that's what the term light worker is. You you find that inner light in your darkness, and then you go out and you shine that inner light, and that affects the people around you. And even though if they're unaware of it or not, our vibration affects people, anyone we come into contact to, whether we're just walking through the grocery store, we could walk past someone and we affect them. So yeah, starseeds don't really know that they're starseeds till they awaken, and we grow up having difficult lives, feeling different. A lot of us reject like the social constructs and the box that we're put in, and that's why we're here to change things, to shift things. So if we don't agree with the way life is, we are here to create a new way, and that's really, really beautiful. We're also kind of like on the forefront of this shift in consciousness. We're some of the few people awakening first and kind of forging the way for others to follow, because eventually the whole world's gonna awaken to this. We're gonna have like a mass awakening, and so we have it a little bit tougher because we're the first ones doing it. And the people before us, like the starseeds that like were awakening in the 60s and stuff like that, they were the first wave. And like I feel like this generation, there's, like I said, there's no set term, but this generation's the second wave, and then the children are the third wave. And if you want to learn more about that, Dolores Cannon, The 3 Waves of Volunteers book will explain everything. So like my daughter, Jayla, is the third wave, and it's just like we're waves that wash over the old and bring in the new, and we will keep incarnating until the whole world is changed and everyone is awakening. And yeah. It's pretty interesting stuff. So also it says like when you're younger you like metaphysical stuff. That wasn't true for me either, but one thing that was true is I was obsessed with magic and Harry Potter and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie. I was just obsessed with magic. And when I grew up and like, you know, society was like, magic's not real. And I believed that for the longest time until my awakening. I used to have dreams of flying, by the way, and it was my soul remembering when humanity did have all these gifts, which are still there. We just haven't all tapped into them yet. But when you're awakening, you will tap into your magic that you've always had within you, and magic is real. So that's fucked up that society for the longest time had me believing it's not real. And that's why my escape was like reading Harry Potter books when I was younger, watching shows about magic, and that just kind of reminded me of home, even though I didn't know it. And so yeah, I'm trying to think of other things I had to talk about. I definitely should have took notes. This video is kind of getting long, and I'm sorry. I hate wasting anyone's time just like rambling. Oh yeah, so I want to talk about when I first awakened. I didn't believe in aliens. That was something super like big that I wanted to talk about. Like literally look at me now. I'm 3. I get so excited when I see synchronicities. Because it means I'm meant to be making this video, and I was very excited to make it. And yeah, so when I was awakening, I didn't believe in aliens. How funny is that? Like I didn't believe in myself. So I remember when I was awakening, I was getting into Egypt, right? Before I knew that I had past lives in ancient Egypt, I was like getting obsessed with the pyramids and the mysteries of the pyramids. And my boyfriend at the time was in jail, and I remember talking to him. It was when I was going through another really hard time in my life. I was getting evicted out of my home in Nevada, and I had lost my car at that time. My daughter's father and my boyfriend, he ended up, they're the same person, daughter's father, boyfriend. I didn't want you guys to think they're like two different people. He ended up going to jail, unfortunately, for a year. And so I kind of like was drowning financially and ended up getting evicted and having to move back home to California, where I'm from, in with my mother. That's another story because that literally was all recent stuff. So anyways, I moved in with my mom, and that was horrible. That was another horrible experience. But like I said, they're all for a reason. Like, these things are all to help awaken you even further and trigger you. And looking back on it now, everything was meant to happen, and I don't really look at any situation as bad. There really is no good and bad. It's only the way you perceive things. And now looking back at those experiences from a higher perspective, I can now see that they were not bad at all. They were like meant to be, and they helped me grow, and I learned so much from them. So how could an experience be bad if it helped you evolve and grow and you learned from it, you know? But I remember I was sitting at my mom's house, and I was going through this awakening with books, and I had no idea like what was going on. I just was reading so many books. Like, as you guys could see, I'm obsessed with books. That's how I've been going through my awakening, is just all these books find me, and that's how I've been diving deep. I call it like soul research, or whatever you want to call it. And I was getting into pyramids and the mysteries of the pyramids. Like, I was buying books like this, like Lost Technology of Ancient Egypt, and I was talking to my boyfriend on the phone, and I was like, I told him, I'm like, I'm going through something really weird. You probably won't know what I'm talking about, but it's called a spiritual awakening. And I was like talking to him, right? And I was telling him about the pyramids and the mysteries of the pyramids. And he said, you know, I heard that some people believe that aliens helped build the pyramids. And I was like, Jamal, if you believe in God, you don't believe in aliens. I was so close-minded, and I literally like said it like as if I was all knowing, and I was like, if you believe in God, you don't believe in aliens. And that story still cracks me up to this day, because shortly after that, then I discovered that I'm literally an alien in a human body, but we all are. But it's funny, in this book, it literally says that like our human body is like a disguise. Like, we're in disguise as humans to do our little Earth mission, and then like whatever happens after that. But it's funny. But we're all just souls in a body. Like, you know, no one is their physical human form. That's just the little vehicle we use while our souls are experiencing physical dense matter. So I told him that, and then he's like, I'm just saying, like, that's what I heard. He's like, I'm not saying I believe in it. And I was like, you believe in aliens? And he's like, I don't know. And he's still on the fence about it. He's like, I don't know, maybe not. Like, he's not super close-minded about it. And then shortly after that, I found this book. This is the book. After reading it, fully believed in aliens, and was fully convinced that I was a starseed. I was watching this documentary called The Reptilian Agenda by Credo Mutwa, and for some reason, watching that, as crazy as it sounded, everything in my soul and in my heart, I was like, I believe this stuff now. And then I found this book. I think they mention him in the documentary, which is how I found this book. I don't know. But I know that it came to me for a reason. And after reading this, I fully believed in aliens. So that is my story of my starseed awakening, when I found out that I was a starseed. And then, but I still doubted it. Like, you know, if anyone knows me, they know that my self-doubt is like major, right? And so my self-doubt kept saying, you're not a starseed, like, right? But I felt it in my soul. But I'm like, oh, that sounds crazy, you know? But then, like, certain things happened that really, really, really helped me understand that I really was, like, just reading. I kept reading and understanding, like, no, this stuff is real, and this stuff really resonates with my soul. It is the most true thing I've ever heard of. Like, I just knew in my heart, as crazy as it sounded, you know? But then eventually, after like turning my Instagram into like more spiritual page, and I found others who felt this way, and that's when you really gain confidence in believing this stuff and not just feeling like you're crazy. You find other people that are going through it and you're like, there's no way that this stuff is fake. There's no way that I'm going crazy. Like, this is real. And even though the majority of the world doesn't understand it yet, we know in our hearts that this is real. So that's really all I have to say in this video, and I want to use the rest of the video to just recommend the books that I feel like Starseeds should read, but would like, and just crystals that have helped me, that are super cosmic and everything. So, oh yeah, and then what type of starseed I am. I have like a whole bunch of different starseed systems that I've lived on, or like when I was doing my starseed reading with Erica, she's saying like it could be past lives, it could be future lives, but everything is essentially simultaneously happening. So there really is no past, present, future. All your realities, all your multidimensional identities, whether you're a Pleiadian in the future or in the past, it's all happening simultaneously. So I'm just not aware of which one's past and which one's future or whatever. But when I did my starseed reading, the white lion tigers of Antares came up, the Pleiades, so Pleiadian, Lyran, Vega is a star system, but I think that has to do with like Lyran, Starseed, like the feline beings. Also Antares, feline beings, and I definitely feel like one of my spirit guides is a feline being or a lion being, because I felt one in my room one time, and I made a video about it. It's my White Lion Tigers of Antares video, so that's super interesting. But I also feel a connection with Sirius, and Erica in my starseed reading said that I had a connection with Sirius too, and so I think, oh, and then Venusian, or I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't even know how to pronounce it. That's so funny, but I've lived some lives on Venus, and I got this recently. It's called the Dance of Venus. Over the path of 8 years, this is the kind of sacred geometric symbol that the Earth and Venus make over the course of 8 years. The orbits of the planets make this. Like, how beautiful is that, right? So when I went to Mount Shasta, my tour guide is Venusian. He's a starseed, and he's actually never, ever, ever lived in a human body. And this is his first time on Earth, and he's very gifted. He's very gifted. He could literally just look at you and tell you, like, your starseed marking or whatever. And the second he met me, he's like, you're Venusian, or I don't know how he pronounces it, but I 100% identify with that. And Venus was actually a very common place that starseeds have lived to get ready for coming to Earth eventually. So that's a big one. I wish I had my book that I wanted to recommend that is about this girl, like Paul, first time coming to Earth, but the only difference is she never got spiritual amnesia. She came with her memory intact and her story, and her name is Omnek Onek, the most interesting book you'll ever read on Venusians. So I want to recommend this book that Erica recommended to me. It's called Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak, and she channels the Pleiadians. And this book is channeled information from the Pleiadians and the Hathors. So The Great Human Potential, Wendy Kennedy, Tom Kenyon. Amazing books, life-changing books. Also, another life-changing book for Starseeds, Dolores Cannon, The 3 Waves of Volunteers, and have another Dolores Cannon book that... Okay. This one too, but it's not really about Starseeds, but this is also one of my favorite books by Dolores Cannon called Hidden Sacred Knowledge. Dolores Cannon is my favorite author, besides Tom Kenyon. They're both my favorite authors. Also, Raw Material, Channeled Information. Ra is from Venus, so I really feel connected to this book. And other starseed things that I feel like are starseeds, even though they're on Earth, they're like Lemuria was in the 5th dimension and it wasn't physical beings. So I still feel like that has to do with being a starseed. I'm going to recommend the books anyways. So if you feel connected to Lemuria or Atlantis, this book, The Lost Lands by Lucy Cavendish, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it talks about Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon. Also, if you feel connected to Atlantis, this book is amazing. Atlantis and the New Consciousness by Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice. And then I'm going to leave the best for last. If you feel a connection with Lemuria, Telos books. I don't have the 3rd volume yet, but there are 3 volumes, and they are channeled information from Oriella Louise Jones, who channels the Telosians that live in the 5th dimensional city of Telos that's in Mount Shasta, or underneath Mount Shasta. So those are my Starseed book recommendations, and then I'm going to end this video, and crystals too. And then I was going to show you guys my drawing that I feel like was kind of like assisted by the Pleiadians. So these are some crystals that I feel like Starseeds would love. Is Lemurian quartz crystals. This one's smoky quartz and this one is clear quartz, and I got them from Mount Shasta from a place called the Crystal Room, and you guys would love that. If you ever visit Mount Shasta, definitely check them out. They come with like a whole printout of what type of crystals they are, and these two have so many, but one of the main ones is channeling, which is my favorite. And then I only have 2 different types of crystals to recommend for Starseeds. Moldavite. They're so small, but each piece is like $50, and I can't really afford to get like huge Moldavite pieces, even if I really wanted to. But this is my necklace, and it's also Moldavite. And I stopped wearing it recently because it was interfering with my dreams, and when I took it off, I wore it every single day for 2 years, from the beginning of my awakening, like in 2016, to just a few weeks ago, and I stopped wearing it because something told me that it might be interfering with my dreams because I wasn't remembering my dreams. And so I took it off and I started dreaming again. So I don't know. My friend Jasmine said, like, sometimes crystals come into your life for a certain like reason, and then, you know, when the reason's done, then they don't need to be in your life anymore. I'm thinking of selling it, but I am not sure yet. But I don't know. I don't wear it anymore. I just wore it for the video because it was like Starseed. I am going to take it off though. But that is it. And the last thing I just want to share is I made this like really cosmic painting. I don't know if you guys could, I can't see like if you guys can see it. I don't know. Maybe it looks childish, but I really love it. And I put sparkles. And so I feel like the Pleiadians helped me make it because when I was watching Barbara, I forget her name. She's a YouTube person who talks about Pleiadians and she channels the Pleiadians. And then she said that they helped her with her art. So then I'm like, okay, I can ask them maybe to help with my art. And then it came out like this, and I'm not really artistic. So I thought like for sure they had something to do with it because I really like it. And then I accidentally dropped 3 drops on it, right? And then I turned them into little Saturns. So I thought that was cool. I just wanted to share that. This video ended up being way longer, and I'm not sure if anyone's gonna watch the whole thing, but it's out there if you guys do want to watch it. And that's it. I can't think of any more books to recommend on Starseeds, but I do have a lot more book recommendations, so I'll do that as a whole other video. Let me know if you guys want that. And thank you for watching, if anyone got this far, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, if you like my videos, subscribe to my channel and follow me on my Instagram, which is @childrenofthecosmos. I love anything cosmic. So thank you guys. I hope I didn't talk too much, and I love you guys. Bye. Didn't turn off. It still won't turn off. Oh my god. Bye, you guys. Okay, I'll just cut that out. Bye.